Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sean.
And I'm Faisal.
We present to you eVERIFY, a financial loan verification service.
The problem scenario that we're trying to solve involves two entities, a client and a lender. I'm the client. I'm just an average Joe that would like to apply for a mortgage, but my credit's not in the best shape.
And I am your lender. I may be your local banking institution, credit union, or quickandeasyloans.com. I make a profit by providing short and long-term loans to customers who may not have the best credit score. However, all I require is that my clients can provide ownership of a set amount of financial assets.
I have assets spread across multiple different accounts and banks. However, I'd like to keep the total financial balance completely private.
I need not know the specifics of each financial asset amount in each or any of the banks that the client has proposed, but rather that the net sum of all these assets combined exceed a minimum qualifying balance mutually agreed upon between the two parties in regarding the loan in question. And we present eVERIFY, acting as a middleman verification service between these two parties. Essentially, our proposition is this: our client provides financial balances from banks, stocks, or wherever their assets may lie, and those respective institutions download our encryption application, in which all their financial assets are then encrypted and turned into ciphertext. Once encrypted, the data is sent to our servers and summed over the number of accounts provided. Then this value can be decrypted, subtracted from the mutually agreed upon minimum qualifying balance, which equals a result. This result, when compared against the value 0, is either positive or negative, proving either pass or fail, inevitably indicating if the loan is approved or rejected.
Our system is made up of three main components: the client application, the lender application, and the eVERIFY server. A new transaction begins on the client-side application. First, the user downloads the encryption applet from the server. Next, the user enters in their bank information and the minimum qualifying balance, along with the lender that wants to verify this information. Once that information is submitted, keys are generated on the client's local machine and sent to the user's banks. The banks, in turn, download an encryption applet from the server and use the keys that were sent to it from the client in order to encrypt the user's balances. Those encrypted balances are then sent to the eVERIFY server. At the same time, the client sends the keys to the lender via email. On the eVERIFY server, the encrypted balances are summed, the minimum qualifying balance is subtracted, and that result is then stored in a database. When the lender is then ready to verify this information, they just simply log into their application, download the decryption applet from the server, along with the summed encrypted balance that was stored in the database, and use the keys to decrypt that result. Throughout this entire process, there's only two entities that are trusted: the client and the banks. They are the only ones that have access to the actual bank balances.
Here are some added security measures we at eVERIFY have taken into place to ensure our clients' privacy of their data. First and foremost, key exchange. Keys are created on the client's local machine and only sent to the verifier and the banks through Gmail. That means these keys are surrounded by the security parameters of the Google Mail client.
We're using Java WebStar for the application. This ensures that the keys are generated on the client's local machine rather than the server.
Speaking of eVERIFY server and our database contains no sensitive plaintext financial information, and rather all information kept on our side is encrypted. With this being said, we don't see the keys because only the banks, the lender, and the client have access to them, so eVERIFY has no means of decrypting this data and acquiring the financial assets of our clients.
And now for a quick demo. This is the user's homepage screen. In order to create a new verification, they just simply click on New Verification and download the Palantir encryptor. In the applet, you can see there's three pieces of information that are needed. The lender, we'll select capital 1. Minimum qualifying balance, we'll select 15,000. And the banks that the user has. We'll go ahead and submit this information, and for the purpose of the demonstration, we're simulating what the banks would do on their end. Randomly generated bank balances are being generated at this moment, and they will be displayed on the screen. you can see that the user has over $100,000 in assets. So they should qualify for this amount. The lender at this point should receive the email. At this point, you can see it right here, referencing that they have a new transaction and the transaction ID is 5 and the encryption key is listed right here. We'll just simply take this encryption key, head on over to the lender's home screen page, and we should see a new verification in their inbox. Here it is. We'll go ahead and click verify. This will download the decryption applet onto their local machine. You can see the transaction details are referencing the name and the qualifying balance along with the encrypted balance. We'll go ahead and plug in the decryption key, decrypt, and you can see that this user does indeed have enough funds. The result is pass.
Right. But wait, if we realized when the lender decrypted the summed balance, it was not what you would expect 106,000 minus 15,000 would be. It was a largely skewed number. Well, that's because we at eVERIFY realized that the lender, who has in their possession the decrypted sum minus the qualifying balance, could simply just add back the qualifying balance and obtain the total net financial balance that the client has provided, which in this case was $106,000. Now, our solution to this problem was to introduce a randomly generated blinding masking element, and this is applied during the summation process on our server. So essentially, after each of the encrypted account balances have been summed and the minimum qualifying balance has been subtracted, this encrypted result is multiplied by a plaintext masking element, which then means that if the result was a positive number or a negative number, once multiplied by another positive number, it either becomes a larger positive or a larger negative number, which does not affect the pass or fail result of the problem, but just ensures that the lender, when decrypting the result, cannot simply just add back the balance, as they will get a skewed number. The algorithm component that makes our algorithm possible is the partially homomorphic property of the Pallier crypto system. This algorithm displays the integrity of how this application is used in modern day usages of the crypto system, like electronic voting. And the bottom equation shows how we subtract the ciphered minimum qualifying balance by simply multiplying modulo inverse, modulo n squared, and the mask is applied modulo power n squared.
What eVERIFY aims to accomplish throughout this entire process is allow a user to provide asset verification to another party without showing their actual bank balances.